and welcome to the Planning Commission of the City of Moreno Valley. I now call this meeting to order on August 13th, 2020 at 7 p.m. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Brugueras,
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Commissioner Stefan,
Present.
Commissioner Harris,
Here.
Commissioner DeJournette,
Here.
Commissioner Sims,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Baker,
Here.
Chairperson Corsick.
Present. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Sims.
Would you repeat after me? I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of
of the United
States
States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with liberty
liberty
and justice
and
for all.
justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Sims. We're now going to move to the approval of the agenda. Could you please raise your hand to make the motion and the second, please? Are there any hands raised?
Yes, looks like we have a motion from Mr. DeJournette and a second from Commissioner Harris.
Okay. Let's have the roll call voting, please.
Commissioner Brugueras,
Yes.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner DeJournette,
Yeah. Yes.
Commissioner Sims,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Baker,
Yes.
Chairperson Corsick.
Motion carried. During the public comment period for each item, as well as during the public comment period for items not on the agenda, each member of the public who has signed up to speak will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. If you do not wish to make public comments, please be aware that if you are attending this meeting through the Zoom platform, you will be displayed as a speaker. Those wishing to view the meeting without making comments can do so online via the city's website at www.moval.org/MV3, the number 3, LIVE. This link is available through the city's website. It can also be viewed on YouTube Live and on channel MVTV3. The next item is for public comments on any items not on the agenda. Are there any speakers?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right, next we're moving on to the consent calendar. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and non-controversial and may be enacted by one motion unless a member of the commission requests that an item be removed for separate action. Items withdrawn for report or discussion will be heard after the public hearing items. Questions or comments from the public on a consent calendar matter are limited to 3 minutes per individual and must pertain to the subject under consideration. Item number 1, the minutes of July 23rd, 2020. Could you please raise your hand to make the motion for approval, and a second, please, if everyone finds it in order?
Vice Chair Baker's raised his digital hand.
Okay. So, and a second?
From Commissioner Brugueras.
Okay. Let's call for the roll call vote.
Give me just a moment to unmute everybody. All right, Commissioner Brugueras,
Yes.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner DeJournette,
Yes.
Commissioner Sims,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Baker,
Yes.
Chairperson Corsick.
Yes, motion carries. The next item on the agenda is public. Right now, we have no non-public hearing items. There are no items for discussion, and we're moving on to public hearing items. Item number 1, the revised tentative parcel map 37478 and amended master plot plan for the approved PAMA Business Park Alessandro Industrial Center. Could we have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Chairwoman Corsick. Associate Planner Jeff Bradshaw will be presenting the staff report this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Corsick and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Jeff Bradshaw, an Associate Planner assigned to this project. And I'm going to bring up PowerPoint now. Hopefully everyone can see that on the screen. The applicant, Alessandro Industrial Incorporated, is seeking approval this evening of amended tentative parcel map 37478 and the related amended master plot plan. The proposal here is a redesign of a project approved previously by the Planning Commission in October of 2008. And the reason for this is as the project went into plan check, plans were forwarded to the state of California, to the Department of Water Resources. And through that process, they indicated to the developer that they will not allow any construction to take place within the easement area of the California aqueduct. And for this purpose, they need to amend the project.
Jeff, can you go full screen to Viewsha?
Yeah, I just was noticing I hadn't done that. Apologize. There. Okay, that should be just the slides now. So
And
this
then
project,
you can do a swap.
apologies.
Sorry, a display settings swap. We're getting
Oh.
the presenter mode. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Tim. This project is located on 17 acres at the southeast corner of Alessandro Boulevard and Rebecca Street. The property at this location is zoned business park. The proposed business park use is a permitted use within that zone. The original project presented to the Planning Commission in October of 2018, you can see shown on the right rather, would have included a subdivision of the 17 acres into 7 parcels. The proposal this evening is to amend that and to subdivide it into 6 parcels. This would allow for the creation of 6 separate developable sites for warehouse purposes and avoid any conflict with any portion of the site being constructed over the top of the California aqueduct easement area. And if you look at the exhibit here, I might go back to the aerial. I don't know if that doesn't really show it very well. The aqueduct is underground in this portion of the city, and it's an easement area that crosses through this property at an angle. If you look at the 2 exhibits that show the parcel map, it's the linear feature that crosses at an angle between parcels 4 and 6 on the map. Consistent with the request to amend the map, the developer is also requesting the approval of an amended master plot plan. The result in this case is the loss of one of the developable sites, and so what would be proposed is the development of 6 rather than 7 buildings in total. That was the original proposal. The buildings in this case range in size roughly from about 40,000 square feet upwards to right around 50,000 square feet. Very similar to the original proposal. The total gross building floor area for the project would be 255,000 square feet amongst the 6 buildings, which is less than the original approval of right around 280,000 square feet. Again, the result of not being able to develop over the top of the aqueduct area. The other limitation in design that you might have noted on both the map and again here in the plot plan is the state's limiting the ability to connect Rebecca Street, to make that a through street between Alessandro Boulevard and Berdea Avenue. Again, the Department of Water Resources has made it very clear that in this case they will not allow any type of construction to occur over that easement area. And so the result is a project now designed to be consistent with that limitation. The developer's taken the time to redesign, remove any parking, any drive aisles. There's no structures. So the proposal presented to you this evening, that's the amended master plot plan, would be consistent with the limitations placed on the project by the state of California. This slide shows the proposed elevations for the project. We've worked with the developer and their team, and the architecture presented in this project is the exact same architecture presented to the Planning Commission in 2018. This is just one of the buildings, but an example of the type of finish, the level of detail, and the color combinations you would expect to see with the approval of this project. We had the opportunity to work with RCA in the preparation of an addendum to the original CEQA documentation for this project. The project approved originally in 2018 included a mitigated negative declaration with specific mitigation measures tied to the development of that project. This project has a smaller footprint. It's 6 buildings rather than 7. The addendum through the preparation of that document proved rather that this project, the new project, the amended project, will not result in any new impacts or require any new mitigation. With that really concludes my presentation. Staff's recommendation to the Planning Commission would be to approve the project as presented to you this evening. That would include adopting the addendum that was prepared for the project, as well as taking actions to approve both the amended map and the amended master plot plan. That concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Do the commissioners have any questions for staff? Please raise your hand and they will unmute you. Any questions? I see.
Commissioner Stephanie, I've asked to unmute you. Just a moment. There we go.
I was just wondering, were we unaware of the fact that you could not build over the California aqueduct in 2018?
No, Commissioner. In fact, in the time that I've worked here, this is the first. I don't know of any other circumstances, either in the way of a city project that would have included a segment of the California aqueduct or private development, in which case the state pushed back and would not allow this to take place. So this was absolutely a first for our city.
Okay, well, at least we're aware of it now.
Yes, we are aware of it now.
Okay.
Any other questions from commissioners?
Yes, looks like from Commissioner Harris. Let me unmute him.
I was just wondering, is there any danger at all to the doing damage to the aqueduct when the soils are being excavated? I'm having trouble talking tonight. And then just construction of the logistic buildings. Is there any possibility? I just wondered if.
The easement has sufficient width that it places the aqueduct quite a bit of distance away from the edges of that easement area. The original project never proposed to place any structures over the top of the aqueduct. The improvements were always going to be limited to drive aisles and parking, and all of that has been removed. So as the project is amended, there will be absolutely no construction activity occurring over the top of the easement area, only landscape. And so there really should be nothing about this project that would result in any damage to the function of the aqueduct.
How old is the aqueduct?
Commissioner, I unfortunately I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I see a hand being raised by one of the development team. When we get to the public hearing, they might be able to provide some background on that. Or I don't know if any of the other city staff has that information. Certainly something we could research and provide to you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I don't see anybody else's hands raised.
Okay, then we'll move on. At this time, would the applicant like to speak and make a presentation?
Yes, let me unmute Dean. There we go.
Hi, first of all, I'd like to thank, chairperson as well as the planning commissioners. This is not something that the development team was looking forward to. We had met or had several conversations with the Department of Water Resources about this. We had originally submitted stuff to them prior to going in for our original entitlements, and we're led to believe that everything was a go. To answer the previous commissioner's question on the age of the aqueduct, I believe it was installed in around the 60s. It's a 10-foot diameter concrete pressurized water pipe that is 10 foot underground from the top of the pipe, so 20 feet to the bottom of the pipe. The aqueduct was designed with a maximum of 10 foot of cover, which is exactly what they constructed it at. Our original plan has us raising the grading elevation over the top of the aqueduct so that we could get our building slabs high enough to get the street grades to work. When they came back and said that we knew all along that there was never supposed to be any buildings over the top of them, and we never designed it for any buildings. We designed it for drive aisles, which was consistent with the terms of the easement that was granted to them. They came back to us, our engineers came back and said that because of the age and the condition of the pipe, and they're required by law every 5 years, they have to do a physical inspection, and they either send divers or cameras down. And to the south of this property, they've noticed a little bit of deterioration. And so that's why all of a sudden they're coming back and saying that we don't want any dead load or live load over the top of the pipe. So we basically treat it as a property line, and we're designing our entire project around it. And to answer one of the planning commissioner's question about grading and construction activity, there will be no heavy construction over the top of it. Anything that's over the top will be lightweight or handwork. Landscaping and stuff will be all light duty trucks. We won't be bringing any scrapers or earth moving equipment over the top. That's a condition that the Department of Water Resources, the state of California, has made very clear. They'll be probably in and out of the site during our grading operation and throughout the project. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'd be happy to answer questions. We tried to keep the project as consistent as we could to what was originally entitled. Several of the buildings didn't change at all. I think the biggest change was we had to eliminate one of the buildings because we had to completely redesign our truck courts and our drive aisles and our project access. Those were the biggest changes. But I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody else has. I think hopefully I covered the ones that you did have.
Okay, thank you, Dean. Did the commissioners have any questions of the applicant?
Yes, it looks like Commissioner Rugaris would like to speak.
Okay, can you hear me?
You
Yes,
can.
sir.
Great, great. I want to talk about the parking spaces. I see 279 spaces. Is that going to be all in one area, or every building is going to have their own fair share of parking?
Every building has its own parking. This project is being parcelized so that we do have truck parking, required truck parking for each one, and we do have auto parking. Johnny, are you in on this call? Johnny's our civil engineer.
Yeah, I'm here.
I want to make sure that I answered that correctly.
The parking is spread out over the entire industrial park. So each building has its own set of parking so that it's all spread out.
Okay, because I'm looking at the staff's report, and and I'm glad to read this part because we're talking about fuel efficient vehicles. So we're talking about trucks that are going to meet the standard, the 2010 standard that are going to be on this property with the new devices.
I'll answer that as best I can. The state of California has new mandates on trucking and emission controls. And so we can't control as developers whether we lease or, excuse me, or sell these buildings. We can't control the trucks that come and go, but I can tell you now that the state of California has requirements, and all the trucking companies are required to meet those requirements.
That's a fair answer. I know that a lot of big companies are already converting their trucks into fuel efficient emission control with the new devices. I know there's a lot of them out there already. That's just a standard of our state. So that's a fair answer. And I'm glad that the parking will be separated throughout the industrial business. So that's a good one. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
No, Madam Chair, I don't have anybody else's hand raised.
Okay. Then at this time, we'll now open public testimony. Do we have any public comments?
No, Madam Chair, we had nobody call in and sign up to speak.
Okay. All right. At this point, then, I am going to close the public hearing and we'll move on to deliberations. Let's do our usual roll call for the deliberations, please.
Give me just a moment.
No problem.
Do I see our city attorney on here?
Our city attorney is not on the call, from what I can see, Ashley.
Sean, with the public hearing, after we open public comment, does the applicant still need to address anything?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the applicant does have the right to make a closing statement or rebuttal.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ashley. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I just want to double check.
We usually have public comments. All right.
I know.
That's why it's kind of different. At this time, would the applicant like to address anything or make a final comment?
And I do apologize. It looks like Commissioner Sims is raising his hand.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'm off the mute. I have a question. So I'm sorry it took me this long to get it. Just out of curiosity, and this may be a Lloyd question. So, what are the truck routes for? Is Alessandro designated for truck traffic? I thought it was Cactus.
Good evening, commissioners. To answer your question, Alessandro is identified through our municipal code as a truck route. Okay. Rodeo would also serve as a truck route.
Okay, fair enough. That's it.
That's it? Okay. Anyone else? Now would the applicant like to make a final statement?
I would just like to thank the Planning Commission again for letting us get this on their agenda. And I would also like to thank, the staff, because the staff in Reno Valley has been fantastic in helping us through this process. But
we're okay to close the public hearing. And we'll move on to deliberations. And we'll do that via the roll call that we usually do.
All right, Commissioner Bergeras.
Let me unmute myself. Thank you so much once again. I had the pleasure of reading the staff report and all the changes that came about to make this a much environmental friendly project, because it is, when you look at the materials that they're going to be using throughout the buildings to allow sunlight to come in. So hopefully we'll cut back on electricity being used inside the building, because when I used to work at Rouse Food for Less, we didn't have windows. you know, so we worked on the lights. It must be fun now with the new industrial buildings, the way they're building them today, that sunlight is coming in. So that's a plus. I also love that they're going to do a class 1 multi-use trail as part of the Juan Bautista del Souza trail for the Rebecca Street. So that's a plus, you know, because sometimes we have residents that always tell us that we need more trails. So here we go. Here's a developer that's going to give us trails along that side so people can be able to, you know, bike ride, walk their dog, jog. So that's a good thing too. The landscaping is going to be in a major place where there's safety. We don't have to crack a pipe. So that's a plus. So another thing I'm glad to hear tonight, that the developer is willing to work with the state of California and our water board to amend things, to make things right for this project. I'm also glad that we're not putting 7 buildings, we're only putting 6 buildings, and they're all individually operated. What I like about it is that we now know that we can have other businesses, 6 businesses in this area instead of one large building. So hopefully in the future, we'll get more developers to come in, use 250,000 square feet, whatever it may be, but smaller buildings so we can have a lot more entrepreneurs and dreamers in our city. So that's a plus. I enjoy that quite a bit. And I'm gonna close with my favorite, always my favorite, safety. Safety from our fire marshals and the Fire Prevention Bureau. Out of the 201 conditions that this developer has to agree to, 27 of them are safety, prevention from people getting injured in these buildings. And I close with my last one, always one of my best. The knock box rapid entry system. I like that because if there's anything that happens to any of those buildings individually, our fire department and law enforcement will be able to get in and take care of the problem. I love the project and I can't wait to see it get built so we can do a lot of things on Alexandra Boulevard, make it look nicer instead of all that dirt that's been sitting there for so many years. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Rivera.
Oh, did you call me?
Commissioner Stefan?
All I have to say is that I believe all the amendments were made to the project, and like I said, now we're aware of what can be done with an aqueduct that's been there for so long for the state of California, and maybe we don't have to go through this again, but it seems like everything has been met and everything has been addressed. So I really don't see any problem with amending the applicant's application. So, like I said, you know, all the dots have been and T's crossed. So I don't see a problem with it.
Thank you, Commissioner Stefan.
Commissioner Harris?
I agree with Joanne. We approved this project once before, and all we're doing now is just improving it by making a few little tweaks to the project. And I think, you know, there's no reason not to vote for this, and I will be voting for it.
Thank you. Commissioner DeJohnette?
Not much. Just kudos to the developer for being flexible and trying to make this project work. You know, I did I guess I should have made the comment earlier. I was wondering what would be the detriment to the site should, for some unforeseen reason, they had to make repairs to that aqueduct somewhere in that area. So I just kind of wondered about that, but that's neither here nor there. I think it's a great project and it should be able to fly. Just something to think about down the road. Water comes out, and they got to come in there and dig it up. So just something to consider. But great job, absolutely.
Thank you, Commissioner DeJournette.
Commissioner Sims?
I think it's a good project. I been approved once and doing it again. So I feel sorry for the developer not having DWR come through after the fact and kind of changing the goalpost on you. Having worked for water districts for my career, there is great sensitivity to that. And to answer your question, Commissioner DeJournette, typically they'll have emergency shutoff valves at periodic places. The unfortunate part with a 10-foot diameter pipe, it still spills a lot of water. So, and I think we just had that over, although it wasn't in our city, it's in the part of the city of Riverside that thinks it's in Moreno Valley, but they had this, I think this line had a leak over close to the 24-hour LA Fitness in the by Sam's Club area. So they do have sensitivity on this, and from a condition assessment standpoint, it's probably best to not build stuff over it just because of the age and whatnot. So anyhow, it's a good project. Good luck with it, and I'm sure DWR will have their inspectors out to ensure that you don't rattle and roll too close to the pipe. So
Thank you, Commissioner Sims.
Vice Chairperson Baker?
I liked the project back in October of 2018. It's just unfortunate, like Jeff said, that the state of California kind of backed off. But I understand that if we got some deterioration in that pipe downline. But I think they've done a good job working around the aqueduct, and whether it's been these, and we had a housing deal south of there that we had to work around that aqueduct there. It's always a challenge, trust me. But I like the project. I'm going to go for it.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker.
And Madam Chair?
I'm very happy to see they were able to do the revisions as required, and I'm certainly going to vote for it and hope that this time they can go forward with it. Thank you. At that point, we will ask for a motion. Would someone like to make a motion? I see.
We have Commissioner Sims.
I'd like to make a motion that the Planning Commission approve resolution number 2020-37, approve resolution number 2020-29, and approve resolution 2020-30.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Okay, why don't we move for the roll call vote, please?
Just a moment, let me get everybody unmuted.
Absolutely.
All right, Commissioner Rivera?
Yes.
Commissioner Stefan?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner DeJournette?
Yes.
Commissioner Sims?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Baker?
Yes.
And Madam Chair?
Yes, motion carries. May we have a staff wrap up, please?
Thank you. The action taken by the Planning Commission this evening is an appealable action. Any interested party that would like to file an appeal with regard to the addendum to the previously approved mitigated negative declaration and master plot plan may do so within 15 days of this action. Any interested party that would like to file an appeal with regard to the tentative parcel map application may do so within 10 days of this action. If an appeal is filed, it must be in writing and directed to the Community Development Director, stating the specific reasons for the appeal, along with the appeal filing fee of $750. If an appeal is received, it will be agendized for a public hearing before the City Council within 30 days.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. The next item on the agenda is other commission business. At this time, we have no items. The next item on the agenda is staff comments. Do we have any staff comments at this time?
Yes, we had a question at our previous planning commission meeting. We were asked about the status of the Yum Yum Donuts projects. So as the commission knows, we have two Yum Yum Donut sites within the city, one at the northwest corner of Day and Alessandro, which is a store only. And we have a second one at the northeast corner of Paris and Cottonwood, which includes a service station with a convenience store, donut store, and a car wash. Both of the projects have been submitted for plan check. We actually just finished up plan check reviews on one of the two projects today, and we are hopeful that they will be getting all of that wrapped up, and we'll be able to issue grading permits here very soon.
That's fantastic. I will be there for that ribbon cutting.
That's very good. She's a happy camper tonight. Very good. All right.
And that concludes Jeff's comments.
Thank you very much, Don. And the next item on the agenda is planning commissioner comments. Do we have any commissioner comments at this time?
Commissioner Sims?
I know we were talking about requirements of the state of California. I would just echo from the comments I made at the last commission meeting that I wish that the state of California is how they can be very mindful of the condition and care of their through Department of Water Resources for their water pipelines. I would wish that they had the same care through Caltrans on their freeways to remove the homeless encampments that are on-ramps throughout the city of Burrito Valley. And I think I will write a letter to my councilmen to encourage them to reach out to to Caltrans to see if there's some way that the city can indemnify Caltrans and enable ourselves to fund the freeways at the off-ramps of a homeless encampment. It's you know, if we're worried about conditions of state facilities, the Caltrans is very high visible, and we should be proud of our freeways.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, with that, at this time, this planning commission meeting is adjourned at 7:38 p.m. to our next regular meeting of August 27th, 2020. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.